Hello, everyone. I'm not going to do the usual intro for this one because this is a very serious subject. This is a very dark subject. So I'm going to give this trigger warning at the very start of this video. We're going to be discussing a lot of messed up things. We're going to be discussing a lot of deplorable things. We're going to be discussing some of the worst aspects of humanity, some of the worst people in humanity. We're going to be discussing, you see the title of the video, you know what we're here to discuss. I'm not going to sugarcoat how I feel about this subject at all. So let's just get into it. Um, One thing that people always need to be aware of when dealing with these individuals is, first things first, we need to stop assuming that they all look a certain way, that they all behave a certain way, that they all act a certain way. We need to be aware, more aware, of the fact that a large reason why these monsters get away with what they get away with is because they know how to manipulate the system. They know how to get around the system. They know how to lie. They know how to cover their tracks for the most part. And it's usually because people give them passes. But we're talking about predators today. Predators, I will say this up front, I do not support actions of predators. I do not support the behavioral aspects of a predator. I do not support any aspect of a predator whatsoever, whether that be a sexual predator, a manipulative predator that just preys on your weakness, maybe may not assault you, but may prey on your weakness, may prey on your insecurities, may even prey on the fact that you to them are a doormat. You to them are disposable. But they're good at hiding that because they're good at playing the good guy, the good girl, the sweet one. And some of them, don't get me wrong, are the predators that look like what you would expect a predator to look like? Yes. Nobody denies that, but we also need to acknowledge that predators come in all shapes and sizes. Every race, every gender, every age. Predators can be anybody. And it's always important to spot the signs when you see a predator. If someone's getting a little too personal with you, asking you invasive questions that you are not okay with, that you have not given them permission to ask, that you have explicitly said is not okay, but they continue to ask, that's the first red flag. And be aware. I've said it at the start, I'm not just talking about the sexual predators. I'm talking about invasive questions like, what's going on in your mind today? Tell me what's got you feeling down. Tell me why you're sad. They'll put themselves up there as this person who preys on that weakness, who preys on the fact that you are vulnerable, that you are weak, that you are in a sad easy to take advantage of state. And you also need to be aware, because I've seen parents nowadays get way too relaxed around people that they just randomly let around their kids. That they'll let the sketchiest people around their kids, sketchy people that are very clearly giving signs that something is not right with them, that something is not okay with them, that something is not feeling right about them. And you still let these people be around your kids. You have these parents who get duped. The parents are victims of predators too, because predators will prey on a parent's naivete. A predator will prey on parents' weakness. For example, a single mother can be a victim of a predator who she meets this guy or girl. Because predators, like I said, they come in all forms, every gender, every sexuality, every race, every shape and size. Predators can take advantage of emotionally unstable women. Predators can take advantage of emotionally unstable men. They can take advantage of that, and sometimes they'll take advantage of that to get closer to their kids. Predators oftentimes will seek out mothers, single mothers, because it's easy access to them. If you see a man who is trying to get way too close to your child, that is asking way too many questions about your child, and this man is supposed to be dating you, and he's asking way too many questions about your child, way too many questions about what your child is like, and nothing about you. Like, they don't want to know you at all. They'll put on the facade that they're interested in you. They'll put on the facade that they like you. They'll put on the facade. They'll put on the facade that they actually care about your well-being, just to take advantage, just to hurt you, just to lie to you. And most importantly, the most egregious action, they will do this so they could get close enough to your kid and damage them and harm them. I see far too many cases of this happening, far too many. And a large number of the time, the cases all end up starting the same and ending the same. And one thing that I will say right here that I do take seriously, that I do take with the utmost importance, I always will side with the victims. I will always say, when somebody is toxic, when somebody is hateful, when somebody is gaslighting you into making you think you're the problem for thinking that something's wrong with them, that something's suspicious about them, they gaslight you. They think by saying, oh, you're just judging me and I haven't done anything yet, which, yeah, they may be right. They haven't done anything yet. That's them trying to get your guard down. That's them trying to get you to look the other way. When your child is coming up to you and telling you that there is something wrong with this man or something wrong with this woman, that they make them feel uncomfortable, that they have done stuff to them, you need to listen to your child. You need to listen to what your child has to say. Are there cases where a child makes it up? Yes, false allegations can be made by anybody. But there are cases, 9 times out of 10, if a child is victimized, they are telling the truth. They will always tell the truth. Listen to your children. Listen to them when they are giving you the clearest sign in the world that something is not okay with the person, with the man or woman you are hooking up with. And another thing, too, we need to treat all predators the same. A woman preying on a man is just as bad as a man preying on a woman. You need to take both scenarios with the utmost seriousness. Because what happens when you have men who are victims of female predators who just get mocked, just get made fun of, or just flat out not believed, you know what that's going to do? That's going to hurt them. That is going to add more trauma to them. That is going to cause irreversible damage to them. If a guy comes over to you, whether that guy be your friend, your brother, your cousin, it doesn't matter. If he is coming over to you and he is telling you and has visible signs that he is a victim and that victimizer is a woman, take it seriously. Because it doesn't matter if it's a woman doing it, she's still victimizing somebody. She's still hurting somebody. She's still messing with somebody's mind. Stop being so trusting to these people because you're desperate for love. Stop ignoring your child when they are telling you that there is something wrong with this person, that this person is hurting them. I understand what it's like to be desperate for love. I understand what it's like to feel wanted, to feel needed. Don't let your want to be loved be the reason that your child has to suffer. Don't. Listen to your child. Listen to them when things. Listen to them. Listen to them. Because what you do when you ignore them, you are adding trauma to them. You are their parent. You are supposed to be the one they're supposed to be able to trust. The one that they're supposed to look up to. The one that they're supposed to feel safe around. And they won't even get that when you ignore their cries for help. When you have somebody who is in a toxic relationship, that's another form of predators. Somebody who is a pathological liar, takes advantage of the fact that someone is naive, takes advantage of the fact that someone is maybe a little slower and doesn't pick up on as many social cues. These predators are actors. It's no surprise that a lot of actors have been found to be predators because that's what predators are good at. Acting. They blend into society. They're often in plain sight, right in front of you, and you'd never even know. Perfect example, Jared Fogle was on brand was the brand ambassador for Subway for so many years and got away with victimizing so many people and hurt so many people because people like the guy. Oh, it's like, oh, it's Jared. He can't hurt nobody. His story is so inspiring. We look up to you, Jared. And then that's why he gets passes. That's why people get passes. Because people don't take the claims seriously when they're brought forward. I understand that there are certain figures that are outed as predators that are popular. One just got outed recently, Austin Wolf. I know he was a lot of people's favorite porn star. He was a lot of people's favorite. He was he was well liked in the community, and then the mask came off, and then we saw who he really was. They are often hidden in plain sight. They don't often look like your stereotype of what you would stereotype to be a predator. Don't be so trusting to people you just met. And if you start seeing red flags, pay attention to those. Because that is where people mess up all the time, is ignoring the red flags, ignoring all the signs that something's off with this person. I'm not saying you should judge someone for their appearance. I'm not saying you should judge somebody for them being quirky. It goes beyond just being quirky, being goofy, being silly, or being out of the ordinary. Listen to the actual words they're saying to you. When you're saying you love them and their response is about your children, pay attention to that. Pay attention. Because the moment you pay attention to those kinds of things, you're able to spot someone from a mile away. Do not let these people into your homes. You just met these people. You just started dating them. You don't do that with anybody you just meet. I wouldn't even let somebody I just started dating into my home. Don't just give them free access, because when you get free access, victims are going to be involved. Those victims may not always be children, but there will be victims. And you give these people the advantage by ignoring the blatant lies, the blatant suspicious behavior. And some people give them a pass because, oh, well, they're cute. I can give it a pass because they're sexy, they're cute, they're hot. No, a monster is still a monster. It doesn't matter how good looking they are or how attractive they are. They're still a monster who hurts people. Ted Bundy was considered attractive by many people, which is how he lured his victims in. He is still a monster. He is still a vile human being. Yes. Do I think I've said basically everything I need to say on this, because this is something that needs to be said. This needs to be said. There are monsters whose only goal is to suck you dry. Suck you dry of your resources, suck you dry of your emotions, suck you dry of your wants and needs. They will make you give up your wants and needs to fulfill their sick, twisted desires. That's another red flag. Pay attention to these signs. Don't just brush them off as just, oh, it's just him being him. Oh, it's just her being her. Oh, they're just quirky like that. No, pay attention. Because what happens is you get predators who get away with it, who still to this day have platforms despite being outed as predators, despite it being abundantly clear they are predators. Be safe out there. Be careful who you bring into your home. Be careful who you bring into your life. Be careful who you give your trust to. Be careful. Don't let people take advantage of you. This is what I was talking about earlier when I said that adults can be victims of predators as well. Because yes, that predator may be after your children, but they are also preying on you, your insecurities, your weaknesses. Pay attention to these signs. Pay attention. Don't ignore them. Please, I'm sending this message out to everybody out there. Pay attention. Please. I don't want to see more stories like this, but the sad, unfortunate truth is we are going to see more stories like this. We are going to hear more stories about this. And nothing's going to be done about it until people do something about it. The law doesn't care. Most of the time, a predator gets sent to jail, they'll get right out within 5 years. Most of them, if they survive their prison sentence, that is, because prisoners do not take kindly to them. Most of them are put under witness protection after they get out. Most of them have their names changed. Now, do I believe a predator can change? I believe anybody can change. I believe a serial killer can change, but that change should not erase what they did. That change doesn't erase what they did. That change doesn't make what they did okay. That change is not something you should just forget happened. That change doesn't erase what they did. And just because they are changed does not mean they should be trusted. Does not mean that you should just let them back into your lives. You learned the first time, don't make the same mistake again. That's all I have to say. It's Kunimitsu, signing out.